and welcome to the Oddity Archive, the show that knows no bounds when it comes to pointless, self-defeating concepts. It gives us an admittedly rather perverse reason to live. Anyway, with that in mind, I've got two videos for you today, which may very well be the most pointless, redundant things I have ever covered on this show, and that's saying something. But before I get to those videos, let me go on a slight tangent here, I guess. So back in the early days of home computers, there was this big rash of programs for tasks that were just better served with a good old pencil and paper, or God forbid, a book. So if you remember the Commodore 64 episode I did way back when, we're talking real gems like checkbook balancer or just one on writing lists. These really existed and they're in that episode. So getting back to today's videos, I think I've got a couple of tapes that are right up there on the stupid scale. We got two operative word videos on using your VCR. I think there might be a slight flaw in that plan. Anyway, today's first video is actually on Betamax, but this was also available on VHS. This thing is from 1982, so this makes this one of the oldest things I've ever covered on this sub-series, at least. So with that, our first video is Meet Your VCR with Joan London and her terrifying cartoon sidekick. But for me, the real humor is on the back of the box. So if you look here, we're dealing with at least two segments on hooking up your VCR. And of course, this being 1982, the legality of off-air recordings was still kind of up in the air, so that's addressed at the bottom. But I think the really amusing bit is the diagram on hooking up your VCR, partially rendering this video moot before you even pop it in. Anyway, as always, I'm going to completely destroy the pure artistic intent behind these videos by talking over them. But I think certainly our more intelligent viewers know exactly where they can find, shall we say, unsullied copies of these beauties for their own perusal. Wow, those light brights are getting fancy. Hittin' Home. Not so much a failed Joan London vehicle as it is a rallying cry for punching out the walls in frustration. 3055. Television industry code for big fat tax write-off. Michael Krause, or the former Mr. Joan London. Less than a minute in and we're already changing the name. Suck on that, Roger Corman.
Hi, today we're hitting home in the living room. My living room.
Wait, Joan London lived at a slightly more upscale TGI Fridays?
Now I've got a confession to make. I work in television, right? Well, I owned my video cassette recorder, or VCR, for over a year before I honestly knew all the things it could do.
And when I found out, I was really underwhelmed.
For instance, I am no longer tied to my TV guide. I can watch what I want, when I want. And I can be gone and come home and have my favorite shows waiting for me. In fact, I can see major motion pictures at home while they're still at the theater.
Bootlegs.
Aerobic exercising.
Low-level snuff films.
Recipes. And they won't go too fast for me because I can stop and go back to get every last detail.
Or, you could just take notes or buy a cookbook.
Share everything that I've learned with you. So the purpose of this tape is to take you through your machine's operation step by step.
Make the clock flash 12 o'clock like a true professional.
Now I've got the help of two friends that I want you to meet. First of all, Emmanuel. You know, like a manual, your instruction manual. I know, producers are so corny. What can I say?
Hey, you married one.
For short. Hiya, Manny.
Hi.
And you think Manny's all? I've got more. This is Dot. Now watch the color of her dress.
This represents the dozen or so outfit changes that Joan makes throughout this video.
Color of Dot's dress to the color-coded section that you want to see is indicated on the cassette box. You'll be in great shape.
And if you're colorblind, well, screw you.
Grab yourself a pencil and some paper to take down some notes if you wish.
Better yet, take a shot every time she negates the need for this tape.
Machine. That's right. Come on over here. Even the kids. Come on, Jamie. You like using the...
Wait, isn't she a little old for an 80s kid to be just learning how to use a VCR?
It's going to go a long way towards peace and tranquility around your house. Want to come help me here, Jamie?
No way. I'm not enabling the legacy media.
Sunday morning. Not to mention breaking the machine. You'll really love this if you're a parent. Come on up. You love your video cassettes, don't you?
Especially the ones with Wally Bogue. Yes, you do.
This is an instructional tape for all video machine owners, whether you've got a beta format or a VHS.
V-Cord and Great Time Machine users, well,
Same basic things. They're like cars. They may look different on the outside. They all go backwards and forwards. They all turn corners, and they'll have 4 wheels.
and the damn cigarette lighter never seems to work.
Go on the road. Be careful, Manny. Oh, watch out.
Manny was using Everclear to clean his VCR and taking a little nip. And this is why Emmett Kelly always wore the clown makeup.
Now, let's start by talking about the basics of
Joan, I thought we agreed to wear green for this segment.
how your video recorder works and why it can do some of the things it does. First of all, a video machine is merely hooked up between your antenna and your television set, right smack in the middle,
Clowns to the left, jokers to the right.
to the terminal marked VHF in on your unit, your VCR. Then a cable connects the video machine from the VHF out socket to your TV.
You might say your VCR has some mutual dependency issues.
Antenna. It's from that antenna that it gets its signal, and that's what it's recording.
I hate those pharmaceutical ads. They're so in your face. Yeah, we've got to squeeze every last penny out of that new Apple II. Looks like Manny's been bitten by the video bug. Or insect.
On your machine, which I want to tell you all about. But first,
Damn it, Joan.
I should ask you and to ask Manny. Manny, come on back. Now, this is an important question in the long and healthy life of your machine. Manny, where did you put your VCR?
On a pedestal, of course.
You know, it gets warm when it works. It needs lots of good ventilation, like that.
An adjustable pedestal. Wants to put on a teeny bopper pop concert at home, I guess.
Oh, look at it, look at it. Now, how are you ever going to push the buttons up there?
You might want to put the VCR on hold. Given his mouth, I think Manny's having a stroke.
Down.
Never mind.
Too low. Oh, no, Manny. Manny. Oh, Manny, that was a bad idea. Right by the fireplace.
Manny just discovered how to break every last rule of time, space, and physics, and you're worried about your porta-pack sitting near a fireplace?
Things on top. Look at this. Cassette stacked right on top of the machine. Now, this gets warm. It's not good for the machine or the cassettes.
Priorities, Joan! The effect that every last word of this video had on me.
To own a video unit is to have been
That's it. I give up.
video bug. What a wonderful interest it is. The video world that you're entering will never bore you, not for a minute. There are new tapes, new developments in equipment, and in accessories coming out all the time.
Like the, video stabilizer.
And you can also join video clubs. Now, comparison shop, because each club offers a different deal.
Deals such as putting up your car or your home or your kidneys as collateral.
Tape, because time is money. Once you're in the swing of things, for far less than it would cost to bundle the family off to the movies or pay a babysitter, everyone at your house can be together in the comfort and safety of your own home, enjoying video entertainment.
And learning as a family to carefully read the label. lest you wind up with Forrest Hump.
Video play or home video. They'll give you ideas and they'll answer questions that you might have.
And soon enough, you'll be ready to debate all the other nerds on the merits of cutting out the commercials.
Books on the market filled with ideas and helpful information. Also catalogs filled with thousands of tapes that you can get.
Of course, it being 1982, it's mostly going to be bad prints of old movies, porn, and ephemeral stuff.
And all other types of home entertainment equipment. If we didn't have to keep a close eye on our pocketbooks these days, we could really go hog wild.
Yeah, as our parents used to say, that VCR is worth more than your life.
Now take your old 8mm home movies into a photo store and they can transfer them right on to cassette tapes for you.
And add woefully inappropriate stock music, not to mention run the films way too fast.
Memories. And no more dragging out the projector or the screen either. Then you will really know that you're good and hooked when you feel a heavy weight on your shoulder.
Not to mention the hunched back you'll develop from hauling all that old video gear around.
And adding your own soundtracks. The sky is really the limit. Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola, look out! Here we come.
Well, if nothing else, Joan's good and representative of what happens to every video geek sooner or later. Oh, hey, The Beginning Folks. That was the name of the crappy indie folk band I fronted back in '06. Wait, is that supposed to be Manny on screen? I thought it was computer-generated sushi.
How long do we have to drag out this stupid bit?
Who is that? It's Dot, Manny.
Well, actually, Mikey, according to the credits.
What's up, Dot?
Turkey's answer to the Looney Tunes catchphrase.
Manny, are we through? That's right, and...
You know, the CBS eye used to freak me out when I was little. Two Eyes would have killed me.
That's all.
And I officially never want to use a VCR again. Congratulations! Today's second tape attempts to take a more postmodern and not to mention slightly surreal approach to teaching you all about your newfangled VCR thingamabob. But this one's from a good bit later than that first tape. This thing is from 1990. And this was put together by the American arm of the now long-defunct Rank organization. So if you remember, the company that always started its movies with, some dude hitting a gong. Yeah. Anyway, I guess they were doing more ephemeral stuff towards the end of their run. And that leads us to today's second and final video. The ABCs of your VCR. So anyway, at the time, Rank was trying to push this thing as just a low-cost public service type tape, and it's a pretty short affair, too. But they were also hip enough to know that by this point, people knew how to hook up the VCR to the TV and play, rewind, fast-forward, eject, that sort of thing. So their whole idea is that people are not taking care of their VCRs. A perfectly noble concept, I think. But it just falls flat. So they made this as a parody of those 1950s educational classroom type films. And, since the whole idea is that people aren't taking care of their VCRs, you'd think there'd be a little more how-to or maybe a little more explicit advice to it. And it just doesn't happen. It's all kind of glossed over. And they way overdo the humor, and the parody is just not all that astute in the first place. Yeah, I'll let you decide whose humor is more belabored, mine or the tapes.
The Earth, our planet, a speck of dust in the galaxy, which is itself but a speck of dust in the cosmos,
Which is to be sucked up by the dirt devil of the universe.
including most everyone you know. This is their story, and it is ours as well.
We don't dare exclude anyone.
No. And somewhere, some way, someone is pondering the meaning of it all.
Why bother? We're just spiraling coils of self-replicating DNA.
Is the universe in entropy?
Yes.
And so, on this day, a young man searches, perhaps for the very first time, for the answers to the really big questions
Like, what is hip?
they're about. Dad, he asks, I've been wondering, do you and Mom do it?
Like there's nothing to it?
Gosh, Billy, as a matter of fact, we do. On a regular basis. I reckon it's time you and I had a man-to-man talk.
I'll grab the finger puppets.
Exactly how it's done. The right way. Thanks, Dad. You're the greatest.
Gotta butter him up if I want to go to that Guar concert.
And so, with childlike wonder, Billy learned that his parents, like so many others, do it regularly with a videocassette recorder.
Gives new meaning to menage a trois, doesn't it?
And so much more. It's boggling. So many do so much with this modern-day miracle, and yet it is one of the most abused appliances of our generation.
Making it record Knots Landing every week.
Shouldn't you boys have some food, says Mom. Of course.
Shouldn't you have a nice stack of shut up?
So excited, he had forgotten his appetite altogether.
Which is probably for the best.
Use the videocassette recorder. But thanks. All right then, I'll leave you men alone. Women.
Can't live with them, can't shoot them. Might want to lay off the martinis, Pop.
Exploration and discovery. In this, the ABCs of your VCR. The questions many of you have been too shy to ask, answered in a frank and concise manner for
In the same way that Peter Gabriel's lyrics are frank and concise.
stands. It's the responsibility of every person who uses a videocassette recorder to understand its proper handling.
Handle it like a drunk gorilla.
Father, this is the head drum assembly. It spins at 1,800 revolutions per minute.
And it never once gets dizzy.
They're as small as the tip of a pencil. Ingenious? Yes. And yet, it's shocking to think how often such delicate electronic technology is abused.
So let's abuse it some more.
For example, can lead to serious injury and occasionally even death. But most often,
Never let the lighting guy handle video stuff.
the best advice is to use a little common sense.
Okay, all you're making me want to do is invest in a broadcast VHS deck here. I had no idea it had so many hidden uses.
Last, and all of us should take a moment to learn the 5 simple rules of cassettology. First, storage. Always store cassettes.
The average 21st century VHS nerd's collection.
Second, cleanliness. Dirt and grime can be transferred into the machine, so before you handle cassettes, be sure your fingers are clean.
Bloodstains are especially bad for videotapes.
Set in its protective sleeve to keep it fresh and clean.
Tempting as it is, avoid dunking your sleeve in country gravy.
Area at room temperature. Placing your cassette on the dashboard or in the trunk of your car may make it somewhat more difficult to watch.
Hey, we had no choice but to bake it. Damn thing had gone sticky.
To store your favorite tapes. Avoid extreme heat, cold, or humidity.
Good thing Billy's dad is 3 sheets to the wind most of the time. He might notice those missing tapes otherwise.
Floor. Never set cassettes on it.
Like Billy did. Several times.
Foreign debris. Even worse, it can stay on your tapes. And the side
The kid's not just cute, she's electrocute.
effects. Just think of the word scumph and the...
Okay, this tape is just metaphorically giving us the finger now, isn't it?
Of course, like so many things, there's more to this device than simple scumph.
There's a healthy dose of too.
Lifetime to advanced studies in electromagnetic photogenesis.
So it's only about recording then, not VCRs proper?
Experiments which help man understand exactly why it is that occasionally cassettes don't seem to work so good.
Gotta do something with that government grant money.
Germany's leading scientists explains how to prevent such phenomenon. He tells us that cassettes should be inserted, then rewound before playing.
Then go through a round of fantasy football, apparently.
Further, after you press play, adjust normal tracking control for optimum picture and hi-fi audio.
So you can watch crap like this. Sucker.
On this sunny Bavarian morning, a theory is tested.
A theory that may soon expedite the making of their famous cream.
Eject mode. Therefore, one should avoid ejecting during program segments.
Yeah, you want to avoid premature ejection, don't you? Oh, come on, you knew I was going there.
The Hall of Disaster Readiness, cheap, crummy tapes are inserted into VCRs to test the effect they have on the equipment.
Also known as Archive HQ.
Quality tapes are more expensive in the long run. Elsewhere, in microsurgery, a skilled doctor attempts to repair a mutilated tape.
Oh, hey, why don't I get a cute nurse when I'm doing tape surgery?
Broken, it is broken forever. Scotch tape, glue, rubber bands, gum, or any other adhesive known to man should not be used to splice tape back together.
I get no choice when it's the only known copy.
The Institute is going to teach Billy a few more little-known VCR secrets.
Yes, Billy, there will come a day when you'll want the commercials.
VCR is tested for durability, size, width, capacity, and dimension.
We're more redundant than government intelligence.
Dr. Plesner is going to show Billy something most people will never see in their whole life.
A VHS copy of Tales from the Quad-Ed Zone.
Of all normal videocassette recorders, even the one you're watching right now. The membrane is smooth.
As is my cerebral cortex at this point.
This, however, is a view of a horribly disfigured VCR.
Oh dear. Looks like Benny Boy's been trying to fix his own machine again.
Of time while watching his tapes. It could have been search, slow motion, or still frames. Any one of them, if used for more than a few seconds, could put too much strain on the tape.
Yes, excessive pausing can cause household items to materialize. Don't question it. It's science.
There's a lot to VCRs. Yes, Billy, there...
Hello, redundant shot.
VCRs, we don't get too many small boys like you around the Institute. It's a shame. Come this way. I have something very special to show you.
He's a hamster, and he calls himself Michael.
Billy! Billy!
Oh, thank God. That kid could have wound up hosting Oddity Archive.
I was dreaming, wasn't I? Gee, it's so good to see you all. Mom, Dad, Scarecrow.
My brothers used to call me Scarecrow.
Home. With that, Mom knew Billy was okay.
Okay, within the realm of this family's genetics.
Block. It's true. There's no place like home. And while our homes in this country enjoy the VCR on a casual basis, there are some places that take it much more seriously.
Like Massachusetts.
In some countries, the VCR is considered sacred, and its heritage, folklore, and techniques are taught from an early age.
Oh, don't tell me Dad's gonna make that kid snatch a Betamax tape from his hand. This tape was one giant screw-upper.
This training continues throughout one's adult life.
Ooh, no wonder Hirohito rarely took the mic. Even Sid Caesar thought this gibberish was overdone.
Of course, we may not take our VCRs as seriously as we ought to.
Hell, us pleb Americans would buy mono, non-hi-fi units periodically. We're not worthy.
On the contrary, thinking people still ask themselves and those around them the big questions.
Questions like, do I really need a hot water heater? Isn't that redundant?
Natural for a boy your age to wonder about such things, so let's ask Vic the VCR to fill us in on the facts.
You mean Timmy the tape.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Hey, only one Eric Idle ripoff per video, huh?
Hey, always rewind.
Hey, we don't take too kind of you video 8 tapes around here.
Hey, a VCR is only human.
So it counts as assault when you use it to clean moldy tapes.
And you can do it too.
Yes, kids, the punchline to this whole mess is doing it equals playing a tape. Wasn't it worth it?
And so that's how it's done.
Timmy the tape only comes alive once in a young man's life.
Families of the world remember the ABCs of their VCR. Follow them closely, and you'll never be alone in the dark. Good night, everyone. And remember, watch it.
This was just one giant piss tape, wasn't it? Well, that's it for today's archive. Join me next time when I drop my 16-volume set of text-only books on how to read.
What's it all about? Manny, is it just for the moment we live? What's it all about? Well, I'll tell you what it's all about.
Manny!
Programmable clock timer!